Good morning, this is the winemaker, Tony Spinelli. We're in Waterbury, Connecticut, international food and wine and beer supply store run by our young lady here, Miss Angie. And today we are holding in our hand, these are two different types of water seal airlocks. And what you do with this here, after your primary fermentation of 4 to 5 days, you have to lock the wine so that oxygen does not get in to create the maximum volume of alcohol to clear the wine. And what this is what they call a water seal airlock, and you fill it halfway with water or potassium metabisulfite solution to kill bacteria, and you insert it into your rubber plug that goes into your gallon container or your carboy, 5 or 6 gallon carboy, and you let that ferment through the secondary stage for another 14 to 15 days, and then the wine has to be racked at that point. There are two different types. These are just two different types. And Angie sells a variety of different bottles. This is the 1/5 bottle, 25.6 ounces. And one wine kit will fill 30 of these bottles approximately. So you're actually, by buying the wine kits from Angie here at International Foods, you're not only saving a heck of a lot of money, but you're producing one of these bottles for approximately $2.40 per bottle, which is very, very good cost. Because today, if you produce wine from grapes, from fresh squeezed grapes, it costs you anywhere from $26 to $36 per box for a 42-pound box. And then you have to go through all the labors of squeezing the grapes and producing the wine in that manner. Where if you come to Angie's store, you buy it from a wine kit, and she sells any variety of wine, Zinfandels, Merlot, Shiraz, Pinot Noir. So she has all the kits here at a very, very good price. When you look at these bottles, this particular bottle here is potassium metabisulfite. Potassium metabisulfite is used to kill bacteria and to stop the wild yeast from growing in the wine when you're doing, especially from fresh grapes. You want to kill the wild yeast. You don't want to use the yeast that's on the natural grape skin. If you ever notice the grapes on the grapevine, you see the white powder on the grape skins? That is wild yeast. You can produce wine from that particular yeast, which winemakers have been doing for thousands and thousands of years. The only problem with that, it's very unpredictable, because wild yeast can also produce a bad wine. So we recommend that you kill the wild yeast with potassium metabisulfite or Camden tablets, which are exactly the same thing, for the first 24 hours. You put that sodium metabisulfite, potassium metabisulfite into that wine vat, let the wild yeast die. This is from fresh grapes. And then after the 24-hour period, then you add your regular yeast and you start your primary fermentation for anywhere from 4 to 7 days. Within that 7-day period, you produce 90% of your ethanol alcohol in that 7-day period. After that, the wine is racked into a clear carboy or clear barrel, and then you place the water seal airlock at the top to prevent oxygen from getting into the wine, from spoiling it, and producing the maximum alcohol possible. See the names? Chateauman, Sauvignon Blanc. Here's Zinfandel. Yes, now here we have 3 different wine kits. This particular wine kit is Zinfandel blush wine. And then we have Sauvignon Blanc. And then we have Chateauman. Now, these wine kits will produce up to 6 gallons of wine. And Angie sells them here at International Foods. She also has a larger variety, your Burgundies, your Chardonnays. Here's a Chateau Roy.
Oh, yeah.
Here's a Riesling wine. She has them all here. And they all produce 5 to 6 gallons of wine. Here's Pinot Grigio wine. And then you can also ferment. These are apple concentrate. You can also make fruit wines from these concentrates. Apple, cranberry, cherry. Angie sells a large variety, and she also has this. I highly recommend. This is your corker, okay? This particular one here is made in Portugal, and I highly recommend it. Angie sells many of these, and they're really constructed of heavy grade galvanized material. These I highly recommend, and this is a good corker here. And then you also need tubing. This tubing is used for siphoning when you're racking your wine. Racking is actually transferring from one container to another, and the reason you do that is to clear your wine. In order to get a fine clear wine, you have to rack several times, sometimes maybe 3 to 4 to 5, 6 times before the wine is exceptionally clear. Normally you discard all the sediment at the base of the barrel or the carboy, whichever you're fermenting into.
I'm low
On the kits.
on the kit because they expect the shipment to come in, and if it's important to them, they'll be in. I'll get it Friday if it comes in. That's why I'm very low on it.
She's low on kits right now, and Angie said that the shipment will probably be in Friday. She'll have a whole new variety of wine kits.
Yeah.
Angie is the best supplier of these kits that I know of in the Connecticut area. I know many people that sell these kits, sell them for a lot more money than Angie does. Angie is a fair price. She's not here to make a killing, not here to make a large profit. She earns a living. Her and her husband made wine for many years. Angie produced many barrels of wine, her and her husband, years back. And she used to give to the family members and different neighbors and everything. She always made wine. And she could tell you the whole history of winemaking from fresh squeezed grapes, which I enjoy myself. I mean, my grandfather did it for years, my father, my uncles. But the only thing I don't like about the old way is because it was unpredictable, like I had stated earlier. The old way, people depended on the wild yeast that was on the grape skin. And sometimes that produced a bad wine. Or possibly the grape that they were using at that time it was low in sugar content. And when the grape is lower in sugar content, you produce what is known as a dry wine or a low alcohol beverage. And if the yeast is not strong enough, you may only produce an 8% wine, 9% wine, which is not good for a long-term shelf life in wine. For wine to have a long shelf life, it needs at least 11 to 14% alcohol content. What this does, it protects it from any bacteria growth in the future. This is what you need. And I highly recommend International Foods in Waterbury, Connecticut, South Main Street, exit 29 northbound.
Angie, do you drink wine every day?
At night, I have a glass of wine with my meal.
What's your favorite type of wine?
Huh? No, I like the reds, and they're pretty good.
Yeah, the red wine, I think myself personally, I think Angie's correct. The red wines, to me, are more beneficial than the whites. I enjoy the reds. I think there's more in the skin that's very good for your heart, and it's a proven factor. It does lower cholesterol. People that drink wine, believe it or not, they have lowered their cholesterol by 10 to 20 points. I mean, it's a proven fact. But always remember, time and again, for all your wine supplies and the best price in the state of Connecticut, visit International Foods, located on South Main Street in Waterbury, Connecticut. This is the Winemaker. Thank you very much.